Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print, and we're going to be talking about kind of an obscure piece of Expanding Universe today, and we're still in 1981, but we're going to be talking about the Marvel UK series. Now, these ran from 1978 to 1986. I kind of held off with talking about these things because I wasn't sure where I wanted to put it in our chronology here. But I decided to put it here and just kind of do one big review and one look at these stories. So the UK released these stories from Marvel weekly or monthly. It was on a weekly or monthly basis. Now, the stories were basically the American Marvel comic series that we've been talking about already, and basically split them up. So that way you could have a weekly story, because a comic book would come out monthly, usually. But now, if you split up the story, you can have it come out weekly, and then by the end of the month you would have a whole story, or every half of the month you would have a story, and then the second half of the month you would have another story. So that's basically what they did. Now, Star Wars Weekly or whatever, it changed names all the time. That's something we have to keep in mind. So it started off as Star Wars Weekly, then it changed to The Empire Strikes Back Weekly, then it changed to The Empire Strikes Back Monthly, and then they ended it kind of with Star Wars Monthly. Then they decided to reboot the entire series, reboot the numbering, and then call it Return of the Jedi Weekly. So now we're back to weekly. Like I said, it reprinted a lot of the American stuff, the American Marvel stuff, and the stuff that was in Pizzazz magazine. Now, Marvel UK did also print some of their own original stories. Now, even if you bought the illustrated books, right, the Marvel Illustrated books, you probably weren't going to get a hold of these Marvel UK. In fact, I didn't think I'd get them for the longest time. I never thought I would get Marvel UK stuff. Until Wild Space Volume 1 Omnibus came out by Dark Horse. I've raved about this before, and I know other friends of mine have. This thing is excellent. They have so many good stories in here. There were things in here that I thought I would never get. And there are things in here, I mean, just to tell you, it gives you Pizzazz magazine issues, Star Wars Weeklies, and The Empire Strikes Back, Devil World, Star Wars 3D, Star Wars Kids. There's an Applejack cereal comic on back here. It's fantastic. What's great about this is that it gives you the Star Wars Weekly and Star Wars Monthly and Empire Strikes Back Weekly and Monthly stories that you need. You don't need them to hunt them down, because literally the stories that have not been reprinted in the Marvel Omnibus or Omnibuy or whatever the plural form is, or in the long time ago trades that we've been talking about, all the ones that you need will be in here. This is so excellent. And this also has, of course, the original UK stories that you would need. For example, here's a Star Wars Weekly thing here. And let's see, here's Empire Strikes Back Weekly. Trying to see if there's anything else in here that's worth your time. Nope. That is it, folks, in terms of that. But there's a lot of other great stuff in here. One of the best omnibus that Dark Horse ever came out with. Fantastic. And it's a great way to collect them. Now, Return of the Jedi Weekly. Those are not in here because Return of the Jedi Weekly gave us no new stories, no original stories. It only gave us stories that were in the Marvel Star Wars over here in America. No original stories in there, so there's no reason to really talk about that too much. So, Marvel UK stuff. Is this worth your time? You know, honestly, I don't know. I mean, some of these stories are a little silly, but if you're a hardcore collector who wants to get everything, they might be worth your time. They might be worth you checking out. They're definitely old school, and some of them are a little strange and a little odd. But again, this is just a great way to get some of those odd, Expanding Universe stuff that you need. Same thing with the UK. They're not essential at all. If you skip them, you're not going to miss out on anything. It doesn't impact the greater Expanding Universe, But again, if you're someone like me who wants to have everything that they can, Wild Space, definitely a great way to get them. And same with the UK stuff. It's your call, honestly. So, folks, that was a quick episode today. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time with another episode of the Star Wars Library.